What's up, guys? Welcome back to the SmallTown Collectibles YouTube channel. I'm Jimmy Kerr, and today I had the privilege of sitting down with another guy that's become a friend of mine through YouTube, doing these mystery box openings, and that's Slotiup503. It's funny, you'll find in our conversation, he lives in Oregon, I live in the hills of Eastern Kentucky, how much we really have in common. And how easy it was just to sit down and hang out with one of the coolest guys on YouTube today. So, guys, this is 10 Questions with Slotiup503. Slotiup503, what's going on, man?
Good morning. What's going on?
Not much, dude. Glad to have you on. 10 questions. So let's just get started. So my first question, question one, is what does Slotted Up mean? Like, why is that your username?
All right. When I first moved away from Oregon, as a teenager, you want to move away somewhere. Like, you're a small town. I grew up in a town of like 5,000 people in Oregon, and I wanted to move somewhere big. And I moved to Las Vegas.
That's
when I moved to Las Vegas, everywhere you go in that town, you see signs, slotted up, slots here, loose slots, hot slots, slot, everywhere. So I made an email address, and I was just sitting there on my computer one day, and I'm like, what should my email address be? How about slotted up, like you're playing the slot machines? And it was Slotiup503 because that was the area code that I lived in Vegas. And when I moved back to Oregon, I'm like, you know what? I'm not in Vegas no more. I'm here in Oregon, so we're going to slot it up here in Oregon. So, yeah, it basically came from the slot machines in Las Vegas, and I'm not a gambler. I never was a gambler. I like to play poker, but, poker's you're playing against other people. You're not playing against the house. So,
right.
But, yeah, that's where it came from.
Cool. All right, so question two. What or who got you into collecting?
I would have to honestly say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the 80s. Gray Man asked me a question similar to this on his channel, and one Christmas I opened up the whole set of Ninja Turtles, and I was like blown away. And I watched the cartoons, and my neighbor was like, dude, have you ever read the comic book? And I'm like, comic book? Never read the comic book. So I went and checked it out because we had a little LCS in town, and I found that. Started reading Ninja Turtles. So the Ninja Turtles is really what brought me into collecting as a hobby in general and comics. So,
question number three. And I know why I did it, but why did you start a YouTube channel?
My kids love YouTube. My son, that's what kids do now. My kids will spend hours watching YouTube. Oh, my favorite YouTuber. And when COVID hit, I didn't really, you weren't leaving the house. And I'm like, and my son right now is at that age. I don't know. You've mentioned something like this where, they don't really, he's a teenager now. He wants to hang out with his friends. He doesn't want to, dad's not as cool as dad used to be for him.
Right.
So I was like, well, he loves YouTube. Maybe I'll make a YouTube channel, and maybe he'll watch my channel. Maybe he'll like my post on Instagram. And honestly, every so often, he'll hit a thumbs up on one of my videos and a like on my post. And that really is what makes it all worth it for me.
It makes your day, doesn't it? I said,
Absolutely.
I never dreamed that, and I was telling Gary B when we sat down, I said, I never dreamed, that I would make friends over YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I was more of a handshake guy, hey, what's up, that kind of guy. And I've ended up making, friends through this YouTube channel. I said, but there's nothing that makes me happier than when one of my girls likes an Instagram post or shares one of my posts or something like that. It tickles me to death. I don't know why, but it does.
Yep. My son was telling me how his friends tried to make a YouTube channel, and they only got to like 50, 60 subscribers, and they were impressed that I reached over 100. So hearing that my son's friends were impressed that I reached over 100, that made me feel good too. So
Well, my youngest daughter, like, she's the one. My oldest daughter doesn't really care. She's like, whatever. You be you. You can do your thing. My youngest daughter is kind of at that age where everything I do is embarrassing, right? So she was like, "Oh my God, you're going to start a YouTube channel and open comic book mystery boxes." And I'm like, yeah, I like doing it. I like reading comic books. That's what I do. She come in the other day from dance and she said, my friends want to do a collab on your YouTube channel." And I thought, there you go. See, I'm gaining ground.
Yep. And then my young daughter, she's got a little YouTube, super cloudy.
Mm-hmm.
She loves YouTube, and she did a one chip challenge with her mom, and she loves my videos. And it's good to do something that because when the kids hit that age, they're not going to want nothing to do with you. So get it all while you can, really.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Like I said, really anything just to have a moment with them, or just converse with them. And I said,
Yep.
and I mean, I've said it 1,000 times, but I started mine because my kids said they couldn't do it, and I was like, "What do you mean you can't do it? You can do anything. You just got to want to, and you got to put in the work. I mean, it just is what it is." So I said, "Watch me, I'll do it." And, they're like blown away. I mean, that I've gotten to 200 and I think 36, 37 subscribers now, which I am too. But, I never thought I'd get 10. But,
Me either.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. All right. So next question, question 4. What has this community meant to you since you started? And do you have a favorite comment from a viewer?
This community, I mean, being originally coming from a sales background my whole life, you look at things a little differently than most. So I'm not as positive as most people. Like, you're a little more bitter than most people after doing sales for so many years. So, like, my wife is so positive, sees so much, positivity in the world. And I'm almost like the complete opposite. And then when I started doing YouTube and seeing how nice people really were, it changed my outlook on a lot of things. I was like, like Gary B. You guy's the nicest guy I think I've ever seen on YouTube. Doing AOK boxes for each other. I never thought I would be sending random stuff to people across the United States. I sent one over to Gray Man over in London. I mean, it feels good to do nice things for people.
And I agree, man. I said, I didn't realize, I mean, we did our live last night for the usual suspects, and you had a guy in Rochester, New York, in the hills of Eastern Kentucky, and a guy in Oregon.
Yep.
I mean, we literally spanned the country as far as, and if I hadn't have done this, that's the best part to me. And my favorite thing is I'm sitting here chatting with a guy in Oregon that, 2 months ago I didn't know existed.
Exactly.
And now I've got a friend, know, and I said, and that's the coolest part. So what about your favorite comment? Do you have a favorite comment?
I do. Let me pull that up real quick. I wanted to be prepared. All right. So this comment, actually, you were talking about people from all over the world. This guy is from Canada. It's the Comic Vet. He's become, he watches all my videos, comments all the time. His comment was, of course, came from the One Chip Challenge video. Had a lot of comments in that one. And it reads, "Laugh my ass off. I was literally screaming, dude, drink milk." I don't think I've ever seen a man almost lose his life while opening a Boxed Heroes box. Anyways, that was quite a solid mystery box. So many new books. Didn't that Wonder Woman just come out 2 days ago? Regardless, I hope you're in better health. Thanks for this, Chris from That Comic Vet. So,
well done, Chris, at That Comic Vet. That's fantastic. That's a great comment.
Yes, I was the part of him screaming at the screen. That lets me know that the people were involved in my video.
Yeah, dude, drink milk.
Yeah.
I know. I was sitting there kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, man, he's really brave. Because when we did the pepper or the ghost pepper and the Carolina Reaper, I had a tub of ice cream sitting there. I had a gallon of milk sitting there. Like, I wasn't going to sit there and take it. But I do, I know you're going to do another One Chip Challenge, and I think one of the usual suspect videos should be me, you, and Gary B. I think we need to get Gary B to try one.
That would be great.
I'll do it, but like I said, I'm not going to sit here and melt. I mean, I'll try for a few minutes, but I'll have my milk and my ice cream ready to go, and people can laugh and make fun of us.
Yeah. It was like when my wife did it, she hates spicy food. She hates them. Like paprika is too spicy. It'll burn her, and then she ate that. It was all about determination for her. She was like, I'm going to beat him.
Going to do this.
Yeah. And
That's
I was
awesome.
sitting there after like the 3-minute mark. I was like, okay, I am not going to do this. There's no way. So
Super Jessie, her name means something. She can
absolutely.
take it.
She's super in a way. Yeah. She does everything super.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. All right. So question 5. So what do you like about the community, and what changes do you think could benefit the community?
What I like about the community, like I said, is just how friendly everybody is, how willingness to, hey, go sub this guy up, go sub this guy up. People are, leaving comments. What I would change, what I find is weird is like, what I would change is like people that they just sub you up and they come to your, they just come for the giveaways. If you're there and you're going to sub someone up, do it because you like them. Do it because you like their content. I mean, I get it. Everyone likes free stuff.
Sure.
But I don't feel right taking part of a contest if I don't like, actually partake in that person's channel. So that would be what I would change.
I'm very much the same way. Like, I won't just sub up somebody to try to get the free giveaway. Like, I will actually legit try to watch their channel and see if I like it, because there are a handful of channels. Like, I'm subbed up to a lot of channels. People subbed up to me, I would sub back. Some I haven't got to yet, some I have. And then there's a set group of channels that I watch pretty much every time, a video is put out. And those are the ones that I'll enter the giveaways on, but most of the time I just let the others go. So that makes sense. I think that's a good answer.
Yeah.
All right. Question 6. What do your significant others think about our hobby, and how does it affect your personal life?
Super Jessie loves it. I mean, she loves going to the LCS with me. She's got her own thing. She loves Walking Dead. She's got issue 1 of The Walking Dead, which was, which is worth more than any of my personal comic books. She makes it all possible for me. Like I know a lot of guys that their significant others would never, ever allow them to, to spend the money I spend on stuff like this and to do the things that I do. And just to have someone that backs you up 100% and enjoys the hobby on top of it, it's a blessing, honestly.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, my family's really supportive. They, it's one of those deals where they're kind of like, do what you want to do. Everybody's got different interests. I don't go anywhere. If I'm not working, I'm here with them or somewhere with them or somewhere watching them do something. And if they're not messing with me, I'm usually recording a YouTube video or reading a comic book. That's what I do. So yeah, no, having family support, I couldn't imagine if I was getting a hard time about reading a comic book, or buying mystery boxes.
Yeah. Well, I was previously married before Jessie. So I have my first wife would have never allowed anything like that. She would have never allowed. I bought comic books, and she would actually the ones that I AOK'd you. Were some of the ones that I originally went into a comic book store and started buying a few comics, and she was like, "Oh, you got to put those in the garage. Those are for kids." And then I was like, "All right, fine,"
Yeah.
And then I met Jessie after we were divorced, and she's got the same hobbies I do, so that was fantastic.
Cool, man. Yeah, like I said, I can't imagine. I really can't, because it is such a part of my life. It is truly my hobby. So, my kids are my primary hobby, but my secondary hobby is definitely comic books and doing that. So that's cool, man. I'm glad that Super Jessie's cool like that. Amy Kerr.
She is fantastic.
Mrs. Smalltown is also very cool. So, all right, let's see. Question 6.
All
right. Oh, cat.
Princess. She's like, Dad, here.
Do you have a favorite mystery box that you like to open? I mean, is there one that you've opened thus far that you really dig?
I would say my favorite mystery box is probably Box Heroes. That Spider-Man booth, honestly, it's probably taken over Box Heroes now. I mean, dude, I've won a Hulk 181. I've won Spawn original artwork. I mean, as far as your most bang for your buck, that Spider-Man, I've killed it on there.
You're the luckiest person I've ever seen. I swear. Like the other night when you and Taylor Winder did your box battle with the V15 box, and you opened that and that original Spawn art came out, I was like, oh my goodness. You know, I mean, I don't even know if you knew what you had when you first opened it.
I was just blown away because I just started collecting Spawn again. I was like, what are the chances that, I just start collecting Spawn and I get some original Spawn art? To me, it was priceless. I had no idea. And then, I started really looking at it after the video, and then my phone buzzes, and Adrian APM had messaged me, and he's like, just so you know, this is what that is, and that is worth a nice little chunk of money, just so you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. And then JP, I sent a picture of me holding it up to JP McFly, and he was like, oh, like the preserved artifact reserve, or basically the art of the big prize. And he had basically told me that he had traded, so many dollars, which was very substantial, in inventory to get that. And yeah. And then I was like, okay. I mean, I wasn't planning on selling it, obviously, anyway, because I love Spawn. But to know that, all this money I've been dumping into these boxes,
there's some value, right?
Yeah,
there's some value.
Really paid off.
Yeah, and I mean, a Hulk 181 and then that Spawn art, dude, I was like, my goodness. I mean, that was just fantastic. So I have to agree. Like, I haven't opened a ton of that Spider-Man booth. I'm probably going to start because it seems to draw viewers. Their particular box does. So does Boxed Heroes. Boxed Heroes, DJ Links made a comment on one of my videos the other day, and I thought it summed up Boxed Heroes perfectly. He said it's like going to the comic book store and picking up some new stuff, and while you're there, you get into some back issue bins and pick up a couple other cool books. And that truly is what the box is like.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's a great answer, too. That's probably one of my favorites is Boxed Heroes. And in that Spider-Man booth, I've tried to do a bunch of different things, because I like everything. Like, literally, I can collect anything.
You and me both.
Yeah. So, like I know you and I were talking about the Funko Pops the other day, and like I have tried my best not to get into the Funko Pop stuff because I know that's a rabbit hole that I'll never get back out of, and because I think they're cool, and I did get my Johnny Lawrence Cobra Kai autographed in the other day. I'll put that in one of my videos.
I'm so jealous of that. After seeing your Sting one, I went to the Zobi and I had it all in my cart. I'm like, yay, I'm going to get Johnny Lawrence's autographed Funko Pop because I love Cobra Kai. And I went to check out, and the price went down like $30, and they're like, oh, we're sold out of Funko Pops, but we can give you an 8x10. No. And I was like, I don't want an 8x10.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't. And then last night I was looking on there, and I thought, there was a couple other ones. Like Sting's still on there, and you get a Sting. I think it's the Surfer Sting with Diesel in a combo pack with his autograph. And I love Sting too, but you've already done Sting.
Yeah, no, but Sting's cool though. I mean, get him to say Slotiup503, what's up?
I know, right?
I mean, you can't beat that. Like I've even been looking at some of the cameos, where you pay people to, like shout you out or whatever. And it's amazing who you can get, man. I'm just telling you. Like the next one I'll probably get is Norm from Cheers, George Windett.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can get him right now, and he has a Funko Pop. They're not selling the Funko Pop, but you can mail it in, and they'll get it signed. That's what I did with the Sting. So, all right. So, question 8: what do you do for a day job? I always wonder. Like I'm watching all these cats on YouTube, and I'm like, I wonder what they do all day. Do they just do videos? Do they, what do they do? So, what do you do for a day job now?
Well, like I said prior, I used to do sales my whole life, and when I met Jesse, I was selling medical equipment to, first responders, stuff like that. And then I met Jessie, and she did daycare. And she was like, doing sales made me a little bit more bitter toward adults. And I love kids. And I was like, kids are so innocent. They're great.
Right.
I can look at a kid and they could say something that doesn't make sense, and I'm like, yeah, they're a kid. Adult says something that doesn't make any sense. You're like, oh, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of thing. I just like kids; they're easier to deal with. And she's like, well, did you want to help with the daycare? I'm like, well, sure. So now I'm basically daddy daycare. We have a state certified daycare. We have 14 kids. It runs from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. in the evening. We run a resale business as well. So
Cool, man.
it's kind of cool being your own boss for a change.
Absolutely. I said I am self-employed too, so I know there is definitely some freedom to that. It's also a lot of work.
It is.
Because you constantly have to grind. I mean, I know I do sales and on a mortgage company, but it's still the grind every day. And because if you don't do it, nobody is. It's up to you to make your money. So it doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, while that gives you a lot of freedom, I'm sure it's also probably the grind every day. But it's probably fun with those kids, though. I bet that's kind of entertaining.
You get to know them, each little kid and their personality. A lot of these parents work so hard. These parents that they drop their kids off at 6 a.m. and then they don't get back to pick them up until like 5:36 at night. And I feel like it's our responsibility to help raise these kids, teach them right from wrong, potty training, because we spend a lot more time with these kids than a lot of their parents do, because their parents have to work so much, especially with the craziness that's going on right now. A lot of places got shut down. We were never shut down. We had to have an emergency license, but things really changed. Like right now, we're doing a lot of. I think there's 7 of our kids that we're basically teachers' aides as well as daycare.
Oh, wow.
We have
really?
to do the homeschooling.
Right.
We have to make sure they're there for their Zoom calls, to make sure they're turning in their work. Yeah,
that's right.
Becoming a lot more challenging.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. If you have a daycare and you got kids that, during the summer you're keeping them, but during the winter they're in school, you're having to help them with their schoolwork.
Yep.
I mean, look, my kids are on virtual right now too. And my oldest daughter is a freshman in high school, and she's taking like advanced geometry. She's way smarter than me. So, and she sat down the other day. She's like, I need some help. And dude, it's been 30 years since I've looked at any of that stuff. And I was like, oh my God, so I'm sitting there watching her lesson just like she is, having to relearn advanced geometry. I thought, I'm done with this. We need to get COVID over. Somebody get me a vaccine and get my kids back to school.
I get them back in school. And it's hard. I don't think it's, my opinion, I don't think it's really fair. I don't think kids are really getting the fair learning that they should, and especially some of these younger kids that are like kindergarten, first grade, that really rely on that one-on-one with the teacher. And because teachers that's what they do. They teach. We're daycare providers. We're no dummies, but we're not teachers. We can't give them the knowledge that they would normally get in school. And I'm just, not that I want them to go back to school because I want them away. I think it would benefit them more, being in school.
I think the social structure too of just having to be, basically you're on a clock. You have to get up, go to school, you do your thing, you go to your extracurriculars, you come home, you do your homework, hang out with your family for a little bit, and you go to bed. I like the structure. And right now my kids, because my wife is a school teacher, so, she still has to get up and go to school. But the kids are here and they can get up whenever they want to. So,
yeah. And then they can walk away from, like, my oldest son, like, you were talking about your daughter. He's in high school. He's a freshman in high school. And, like I did parent teacher conferences here recently with them. And they were like, sometimes, we call on them in class and it's a blank screen. It's easy for kids just to turn their cameras off and walk away. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I might have done the same thing. I don't. All right. So, question number 9, and maybe the most important question that I asked today: who's your favorite sports team?
All right. Well, I've got two, and I mean, I like all sports, but I grew up a football and basketball fan. I'm from Oregon, and really the only sports team we have out here is the Trailblazers. And the only time they've ever won anything is the year I was born. So I've never seen a championship. And then the Minnesota Vikings. We don't have a football team out here. You know, I got a friend that was a huge Vikings fan as a kid. So I heard all about Fran Tarkenton from his dad, you know, growing up, and the Purple People Eaters. So I would say I jumped on that bandwagon, but it hasn't been a bandwagon. It's been like a rickety, sideshow is what it's been.
Well, you're in Oregon. I mean, like there was a time in the early 2000s that the Oregon Ducks were legit. I mean, you know, that was Chip Kelly during his run. And, I mean, they were awesome. Like where I'm at in Kentucky, we don't have a professional sports team. Kentucky basketball is our team. And, you know, Kentucky football, they play today at noon. We play Vanderbilt. As soon as we get done with this, that's what I'm going to do. So watch the Cats. But is Oregon, is that a big thing too? Is the college football or college basketball? Because the basketball team's been good of late as well.
Yeah, the Ducks in Eugene, the Ducks are huge. I mean, we have Corvallis, which is the Beavers, and it's like a 25-minute drive from where I am. And then Eugene's like 25 minutes further past them. So you got the Ducks and the Beavers that are right next to each other. And the Civil War is huge in college football. And you know, we're torn here in Oregon. We got Beavers fans, we got Ducks fans. I am a Ducks fan. I love the Ducks, and I love Chip Kelly. I was very upset when he left the Ducks and went to the Eagles, even though he said he wasn't going to leave college football. But then, you know, he got that fat check from the Eagles, and you know the rest.
Yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, I always wondered that because like here, I mean, really, I'm in Eastern Kentucky. We're in the hills. You know, you got Pittsburgh to our east, which is probably about 6 hours away. But Cincinnati's like 3. You can be up there in about 3 hours. And so the Reds and the Bengals by default have always kind of been our team. And there's some people that like the Steelers. I watch the Bengals, but I tend to watch any team that has a Kentucky player on it. So, you know, because it's all college with us. So I tend to follow like NBA. I don't even like the NBA that much.
Don't say LA. I know you like Anthony Davis.
Well, I like AD, but I'm not a Lakers fan. Perfect. I was happy that AD won, but I was cheering for the Heat because they had Bam and Hero.
Yes.
So, but then you know, LA had Rondo and Davis. You know, and those are all Kentucky guys. So I'll pretty much cheer for anybody that plays for Kentucky.
I like Anthony Davis a lot. I can't hate on the guy. The guy's great. He was great in college. He's unstoppable in the NBA, and I'm not a big LeBron James fan, but you know maybe that's just me being bitter.
You know, LeBron's the truth, man. I said it's hard. It's easy to hate because he is so good and he's so political that he makes himself sometimes easy to hate. But my daughters, you know, they do elite dance and they travel all through the winter months dancing in competitions. And one of the competitions that we would always go to was in Cleveland. And so it would be right during basketball season. So when LeBron was there, I made sure if they were in town, I went and watched. I said, you know, you get a chance to watch the King live, you know, you got to go. I got to watch MJ play. I got to see Kobe play. You know, Bird, I saw Bird play at one time, Magic. You know, so if I get an opportunity, I try to go watch those guys.
I get it. Greatness is greatness. He is great, but where I turned from a big LeBron fan to a hater was the year, because I'm a huge Dirk Nowitzki fan. I love Dirk. I love them. You know, Mavericks were my team, but I like Dirk. He was
he was going to come to Kentucky.
Yeah, he's a stand-up guy. You know, he's a great player. And the year where they played the Heat, and you know, LeBron and Wade and all those guys were making fun of Dirk because he was sick, and they were like, you know, they were taking shots at the guy basically. And I was like, you know, really? And then the whole thing where he was like made the big deal of leaving Cleveland to come to Miami. I thought that was too much.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. All right, we could go on about sports all day. So let's do question 10. Last question. Do you have a personal grail or grails?
One of these days I'd like to get, I mean, although it's worth more than a car, is TMNT #1. Hope the wife's not listening to that. I mean, that was what really got me into collecting, but that'll probably never happen. Same with like my favorite heroes, Batman. Like his big keys, they're worth more than a house. They're worth more than multiple houses. So
Yes.
the chances of me getting those are not very likely. So like maybe the Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's 129, first appearance of Punisher.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one.
That would be a good one because I dig Punisher a lot. So that would probably be a grail. I actually have one of my grails, The Killing Joke. That was one of the big books that I really loved back as a kid. When the Joker shot Barbara Gordon and crippled her, I was like, wow, really?
Yeah.
It was a traumatic thing that happened in a comic, so that was a big memory. So I got a few grails. Not like the big expensive ones, but I have a few. Like I have Deadpool's first appearance. Love Deadpool.
Right, that's attainable. I mean, that's an attainable comic book. So, and another book that'll probably increase in value as time goes on. So, that's the one thing I have found is, in books, you may get lucky with a new modern book, and I love modern books. I buy them every week. But, there are the older books, man, are good investments. I said, especially if you can get them graded and hang on to them for a while. I said, they seem to always appreciate in value. So, those are good grails. I like those. I mean, especially like the Punisher. I'm the same way. I dig the Punisher. I love the show on Netflix. That was the hardest show I've watched on Netflix, man. I said that I loved it.
And Daredevil. Did you watch Daredevil?
Daredevil is the best. It was one of the best. Season 3 was one of the best seasons of a TV show that I've watched in a long time, and he never dressed up like Daredevil.
Yes. Yeah,
I loved it.
The actor that plays Matt Murdock in that just kills it. I hope they, use him in the movies. I
do too, man. He's a great Daredevil, and I hope if they don't do a movie, do Disney Plus, bring it over there. Because I thought the Punisher was great. I wasn't a big Iron Fist guy. Luke Cage was okay.
I didn't really dig those either, but the big crossover one,
the Defenders.
Yes, very good.
And I like Jessica Jones. Now, I do watch Jessica Jones. I think it's good. I like it.
Yeah, my wife likes that one.
Cool. All right, man. That's our 10 questions. Slide it up, brother. I appreciate you coming down or coming on and sitting down with me on this Saturday morning.
I appreciate you having me.
I want to say to you, that I've got you on here, man. I appreciate you as a friend on YouTube, someone that always comments on my videos and offers advice. And then me, you, and Gary B have kind of formed this usual suspects thing. And so I know you call he and I, two of the nicest guys on YouTube. But if we are, you're right there with us because I enjoy your content. I think your content's good, man. I really enjoy it.
That's good.
And I always look forward to that notification bell popping up and Slotiup503's on the other end.
So. I know. I just started hitting the notification bells on everyone's videos. I was like, I don't know why I haven't been doing this sooner, but yeah. So now my phone between that and the Instagram group message, my phone never shuts up.
Yeah, it's just boom, boom, boom. Mine does it all, but I have to turn it off, man, because I got to work. So Cool, brother. Guys, thanks for checking it out. You'll see Slotted Up, and I and Gary B, we're going to do some more box battles. Definitely go over to Slotiup503 on YouTube and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, as we were saying, and then go follow my boy on Instagram too. Great follow, always posting good content, and you will not be you won't be mad at him when you watch his videos. They're also they're really good. So. Guys, thanks for coming over and checking us out. Until next time.
Slotted Up, comic book world.